Hey, what's up guys? It's Tuesday morning and I wanted to give you a very quick tour of my car, aka my home for the last year, just so you can see how it is that everything actually works and how I can actually fit my whole life in here and live out of this tiny car. Sometimes when I look at it, it surprises even myself. But it's possible and it works and it's actually very comfortable. I was just in Bishop this past weekend doing some rock climbing. I went up with a couple of friends and we basically both slept in our cars. My other friend has a slightly bigger one than this. It was completely comfortable. I've got a good sleeping bag back here. It was warm enough. So we went climbing by the Eastern Sierras and everything worked out fine. So anyways, I want to take you on a tour of this car. I want to take you on a tour of my home and show you how everything works. Here we go. So this, of course, we're in the front seat here. Nothing special. I've got my backpack and stuff up here. Again, I went climbing this weekend, so I've got some gear up here. But yeah, it's a beautiful car. I really love this car. And one of the best things about it is that it sips gas. So it's very fuel efficient and it's perfect for just living on the go. This is the back seat here. And as you can see, I've got the two chairs folded down and I've got my sleeping bag ready to go right here. The sleeping bag is rated for about, I think 20 degrees actually, which means you'll be comfortable in about 20-degree weather. This particular one is probably not actually that good, but it gets very close. I've been in freezing temperatures where there's some snow outside on the ground. And especially in this small car where your body can emanate a lot of heat and keeps it trapped inside a small area, this thing works great. So I've got a little pillow here and it's an inflatable pillow. Also very important, this probably would not work. This setup wouldn't work if I didn't have this mattress pad. Not only do I have a mattress pad, but this is a very thick mattress pad. This one's 2 inches thick. It's thicker than most backpackers might use. But for this car, it's absolutely necessary. Not only does it keep your body warm because your body heat gets trapped inside the pad and it keeps you warmer, but as you can see, there's a little bracket there. The chair kind of slopes downwards and it slopes down into the trunk at a weird angle. So this actually keeps your back straight. One thing about sleeping in your car is there is a very real danger of giving yourself some bodily problems. So whether that's spine alignment, whether that's blood flow to your legs, you want to be able to lay straight and comfortably. That's very important if you ever do this, especially since you'll be sleeping in here and it's like an 8-hour night for you when you're sleeping. It's very important to be straight and comfortable. So this sleeping pad, sleeping bag, pillow, just got some towels, camera bag, just some stuff, like whatever. There's some stuff down there as well. You might notice as well that the windows are not tinted. They just have these cheap little, I guess, sun blockers, sunshades or something. They're actually not very good. They were just the only ones I could find at the time. They reduce some of the heat and I guess some of the visibility into the car, but not really. It'd be really nice to have fully tinted windows just for some privacy. But what I actually do instead is I'll take like a jacket that I have, or maybe like a towel or something like this, and then just put it through these guys. I'll hook that through those guys and it just kind of blocks the view into the car a little bit, just for a little bit of privacy. Let's walk over to the trunk and I'll show you what it looks like in there. All right, so this is the back end of the car here. This is the trunk. So you can see, here's the sleeping bag where it ends, sleeping pad. All of my clothes are right here, compartmentalized in these little packs that I got from REI. Let's see, I've got colored shirts, white shirts, underwear, socks, collared shirts, and pants are underneath that. You can see I've got shoes, sandals, These are some heavy jackets that are in these vacuum pouches that get all the air out and make them really small. On this side, got some dirty laundry. Climbing shoes, of course. I've got some soccer cleats in here. This is just some random knickknacks, books, beanies. Got a little blender, Magic Bullet. Works very well. Down below, this guy's got a bunch of electronics, cables, stuff like that. And then I used to carry some like dry food and stuff in this container. I don't use that too much anymore. But yeah, so that's basically all the stuff that's in the back here. Well guys, as you can see, it was a very quick tour, obviously. This is it. Let me talk about some of the challenges of living in this car, specifically this one, or one of this size at least. Challenges include changing clothes if I need to. Usually I shower at the rock climbing gym, but if I need to just like put on a new shirt or some pants or something real quick, I actually do that in here, and I can't sit up in this back seat. So what I have to do instead is do it from the front seat. Depending on the time of day or the time of night and where I am, maybe I'll be brushing my teeth in here instead of going to the gym again or something like that. And so you have to learn how to do things in very tight spaces. I don't really mind. I mean, it's just something you deal with, and honestly, there are worse things in life than having to, do these little daily tasks in a small space. It's really not that bad. Another challenge is staying tidy as best as I can anyways. There's a notion that if you make your bed every day, that tiny productive habit can emanate into the rest of your life and you build upon that, and you build good habits elsewhere in your life. I do think that's true, and it is a lot harder to follow those habits when I have to, in terms of like making a bed, I guess you'd call it. I have to roll this up, I have to roll the pillow up, roll the sleeping bag up, put the chairs up, and put the headrests back on, and then just make it look like a normal car again. That takes a bit of time, and it could be a little bit tedious, but that's part of the morning routine. Oh, a big challenge right here. In this particular car, to go from the back seat into the trunk, maybe for stability or something, there is this piece of plastic. You can see it's like a crescent shape right there. So your body has to go through there, and essentially what that means is it makes it difficult to like flip and turn around and stuff. It is possible, I do it all the time, but you can't just be like kicking your legs around a lot and stuff like that. So it's a little bit tight because of that. It would be a lot better if that was just open and I could, I could sit with my knees bent or something like that. I don't know. Basically, my whole life is packed into this car. There are a few exceptions. I have left a surfboard or two at a friend's place. I let my friend borrow my guitar indefinitely because that would be a pain in the butt to keep in here. And also the crash pad that I use for rock climbing. If you're not familiar with rock climbing, you might not understand that, but it's basically a big pad that I can fit in here, and I did for this past weekend, which is why I took this headrest off so that it slides over here. But I don't want that in my car all the time, obviously, so I also leave that at a friend's house who rock climbs too, and whenever I go climbing, I just pick it up. So it's been very convenient to have those friends that are willing to do that, and I'm very grateful for them. I'm very grateful to a lot of people for supporting me through this. I've only told a select few people until these videos, obviously, and I did that because I wanted to be safe, so to let some people know what I was doing and where I was going and things like that. Safety is a priority. But I also wanted to feed off of the right energy. As I mentioned in my previous video, the rock climbing community is actually not very estranged from the idea of living in your car. I wanted to tell people that would kind of get that and I wanted to be around people that understand that I'm not the type of person that does things without thinking them through. There are times when I try to make rash decisions and just do instead of think. But for the most part, I think that's the aspect of my life that I'm working on. For the most part, I'm somebody that thinks through things a lot. So the people that I told are ones that understand that. And because they understand that, they know that there's more to this lifestyle than just some crazy irrational thinking, or maybe I'm down on my luck and I'm struggling or something like that. This is a lifestyle decision, and I think it has particular benefits to it. And I wanted to be around people that not only understand that, but could be supportive of it. So maybe they're not the type of people that would do it themselves, but they are the type of people that when I tell them, their response will just be like, if you think it's right for you and you're happy, then do it. You know, all the power to you. As long as you're safe, let me know if you need anything. I'll be here for you. Yeah, just be happy and do your thing. Those are the type of people that I told that I'm living in here. I did not tell people that I thought would just be surprised and shocked and be like, what are you doing? Why would anybody do that? I don't understand. And then just like feed all this negative energy into me. One thing I think that's important to communicate is that this lifestyle decision, it's like anything, like any big decision, it's got its mental hurdles. You know, there's a part of my mind that asks myself, like, what are you doing? Like, are you really living in this car? Is that who you've become? Like, my mind starts to go to these negative places. We as individuals already have that for ourselves. Therefore, we don't need all that extra negative energy coming from other people. We need positive energy to bring ourselves, our own minds, back into positivity and productivity. So those are the people that I told, the people that can bring that positive energy. I don't know if I really wanted this video to go into this, but let's just talk about why I chose to do this again. I might have explained it in other videos or something, but what are the benefits to doing this? Let me start by saying that I'm pretty sure there are people that look at this lifestyle, look at me, and look at this YouTube channel and think or comment how I really shouldn't be here because I'm not facing real struggles. Like I did not lose my home unforeseeably in some financial crisis. I'm not tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and I don't know what to do, so I have no choice. Like, there are people that have those problems and live in their cars or on the street, and it's not entirely by choice. They really would not like to be doing that, but they do it anyways because they have to. I'm not in that position. I understand that. With that being said, to me, if somebody wants to live in their car voluntarily, go ahead. I have no problem with it. I think there's a lot of benefits to it, not just for the individual, but probably for society. I mean, space is a concern, population growth is a concern, housing prices are a concern. I personally, if I saw somebody else living in their car, I'd have no problem with it as long as they weren't trashing their environment, as long as they weren't disturbing anybody in any way, then why it doesn't bother me at all. And so that's kind of how I perceive that. Anyways, with that being said, what are the benefits? For me, the main benefit was, of course, saving money and not spending money on rent or mortgage at this particular time. I don't necessarily think that those things are bad. Those are individual decisions that need to be made at your whatever point in life you're at. But for me, I knew that my priority, at least this year, was flexibility and travel. So paying rent and a mortgage just went way down the totem pole on that. But the bigger challenge and the bigger benefit to this is purposefully being uncomfortable. I had first heard of this idea from Tim Ferriss, who I think got it from a Greek philosopher, if I'm not mistaken, about the idea of practicing poverty. I don't know if those are the exact words that he used, but in general, what that means is like putting yourself in places, in conditions that are less than ideal for the purposes of making you stronger. How does it make you stronger? The general idea is that if you, let's say, live in your car if you live off of a diet of rice and beans for a week, if you just put yourself in those conditions, then when you go out in life and you are considering taking these risks, like moving to a new country or starting your own business or something like that, when you're taking these risks that a lot of people shy away from, it makes it easier for you to do those risks because you know that the consequences for failure aren't quite as dire or dangerous or scary as they might have initially seemed, because you've already lived in those conditions. Basically, if you're scared of taking the risk of, let's say, starting a business because, well, what if I fail and I lose my investment money and I have to live out on the street and I can't afford to eat proper meals and stuff. If you've already practiced living in your car, if you've already practiced living on rice and beans, if you've already practiced living in a third world country for a while, then those consequences don't scare you as much. You know that you can overcome them. I know now that I'm capable of living in less than ideal conditions. And granted, I mean, we have to put this in perspective. It's all relative, right? Because this is a beautiful car. It's a 2013 model. Like, I shouldn't have bought it. I shouldn't have taken on the debt for it. And that was a mistake that I can go into in another video, but I did it. But regardless, it's a beautiful car. It works. It hasn't had any problems yet. I should be nothing but grateful for it, and I am. But anyways, being uncomfortable, being in challenging conditions, to me is a way to kind of break myself down a bit. Yes, there are lonely nights here. There are nights where I want to go out, but I choose not to in order to save money. There are nights where it's a little bit scary because I'm in a new place. There's all kinds of things that are very uncomfortable. But going through those uncomfortable experiences makes me stronger, because now going into the future, I know that I'm strong enough to overcome some of this relatively minor adversity. So that's the main benefit of living this lifestyle to me. One last note before I go. I touched on this already, but I think it's definitely worth reiterating. All of this stuff, this situation that might seem inconvenient at first, it's all relative. Living in this car with that sleeping bag, this mattress pad, all my stuff in here, to any person or notion that might say that, what are you doing? Why would anybody live like that? That's terrible. Get an apartment, get yourself together. Like, to anything like that energy, all of this is still absolute luxury. I think it's very important not to forget that. I think it's very important to stay grounded to the humanity that this all is luxury. I'm living in luxury right now. I'm not on the street in some tent by the LA River, okay, and surrounded by people that may or may not be doing hard drugs or something. I'm not in a third world country where people are struggling to get food or have to hike 10 miles to bring water back to their home. I'm also not in a place where my town or my village or my home is constantly living in fear of attack from some civil war or something like that. No one is oppressing me. No one is threatening my life with because of what country I'm in or what environment I'm in. Like, this is Huntington Beach. This is a 2013 sedan. This is luxury. And I think it's important to remember that, because I think it's important to keep myself grounded, that I realize that, as much as these might be challenges, they're pretty light compared to so much elsewhere in this world. This is just one little piece of it. This is one little way of touching upon situations that other people might be forced into. So I really don't worry about it. And this is my home. This is my beautiful home. And I've been very fortunate. So anyways, thank you for taking this tour with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Be safe and keep adventuring.